For life. This is the FY 24 conference committee on the budget adjustment. And I guess I didn't say that right, the 24 budget conference committee. And we're going to continue our work to close out different sections and hopefully get some more clarifying information around certain sections that would help us. I know that we've gotten more information on legal and our syringe and support services that go with that. So I don't know if we're at a point where we can close that out or just.
I think after discussion, we
Maybe can.
I think we're really close, quite frankly, and I'll say this openly at the table, one of the concerns I have is they closed the clinic in St. Johnsbury, and if you get to 218, does that mean it's going to open?
Were you addressing that question?
Well, I'd like to check that out before we say.
Potentially,
And
yes,
but
people in the
I
room,
wanna
yes.
be clear, Representative Whitney, that's the conversation we just had.
All right. And we just got another memo of clarification, so
Yes,
we
we all.
will, at least we're making progress.
Yeah.
And the other area that we're still continuing to work on, and that is how the distribution of the grants that we've got 10, we've got 12.5.
Oh, the blood.
And I'm hoping that we can, but one of the alternatives, and I don't want to slow that down. But if we absolutely have to, I don't want to hold up the BAA, and I would recommend that we consider some language to the effect. Whatever the amount we agree upon will be distributed based on the methodology, and if we don't have it to put in the BAA, that we would have a methodology that would be approved by joint fiscal, and we could call a very quick meeting to review whatever gets finalized and move it forward, so, that's.
Okay, is this that's the 12, yeah, that's the 12.5.
Municipal assistance, yeah.
Okay, yeah,
So,
yeah, you've been working on it.
Yeah, we keep thinking we have something and then we find
And
something.
nothing that's wrong.
it's like true love, it's very elusive.
Well,
Yes, spring to turn.
Yeah, it's going. It's going back and forth here.
so anyway,
We don't wanna take any, give more time, because the time frame is still very, very, compressed, and,
Yeah.
the need to
Urgent,
move,
yeah.
help out. But, that is one thing that could allow us to move forward.
fit a good fit in time and also take into consideration the urgency of that
Yeah, so
situation.
that's
Right.
just an option that,
And are you working on language for that
no,
option?
not yet.
Okay.
I
Oh,
just
but
came to it this
morning. No, I meant
3:30.
But you might have it either at 3 or tomorrow.
And we won't need it.
If
I
we,
would have it for tomorrow if in fact we aren't able to come up with something in
it's
between.
Plan B.
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
sounds good.
So that was one thing. So maybe we can look at some of this. I know that we're still trying to get information about the reversion. And how we came up with the money to convert the general fund. So should we keep that open?
We should
And-
probably keep that one open, but we're very, like you said, this is very close. Adam's taking a look again at those 6 ARPA reversions to make sure. And I was being made to feel more comfortable about one of them today. But I asked him because House of Commerce has been looking at them, if he could check in with him to make sure that everybody's on the same page. I don't think there's any concern around what is trying to be achieved. It's just which dollars,
Okay.
The other thing that besides it's not on the sheet that we might want to consider, and I don't know if you're ready.
I am.
You are, okay, was that we got yesterday we talked a little bit about the 4% foster.
Oh, yes.
Foster care increase, and we've confirmed, JFO has confirmed that they have the money. They're trying to figure out how to get it out, but, we have some brief language we'd like to suggest.
We have a copy of that.
That was why, did this go out to?
And the question was, then there was no language that went with the money.
It was on the list, I don't know if everybody remembers, but there were, JFO did a list of all of the cost of living increases. It was on that list specifically. They didn't see it. that was an internal document.
Okay,
There's
so,
the language.
so the bill itself did not have any specific language.
That's not that I could find.
Okay, so would you like me to read it and then you don't have to decide on it if it's not, but it's a very simple of, foster care subsidized adoption expenditures, the Department of Children and Families. Family Service Division shall spend funds appropriated in, 2023 acts and resolves, number 78, section B. 317 on a 4% rate increase for foster care and subsidized adoption.
Who wrote that? It's awfully
Katie.
Okay.
Fair. And no, Madam Chair, but I think it was the reading.
Yeah, that would be my stumbling on subsidies.
Okay.
So that came to,
Apparently there was.
They said
no-
there was no language.
No, what, we should get. a
yeah,
copy.
we should get a copy of it.
Oh.
No, that wasn't what I asked. They said there was no.
They said there was no language.
But the spending authority was there, but there was no, okay.
And that's why nobody got it.
That, and it isn't because of systems or anything.
No, they've made other increases. They have to do this through their system, but, no, FY 22 during the COVID, we gave, foster care providers another increase.
I'm just.
Yeah, they just said there was no language.
Okay.
All right, well, we'll give them some language. Um,
So anyway, for
Consider-
consideration, you don't have to decide until you look at it, but we just wanna make sure we put that on the table,
Okay.
that there's some action on
Come
it.
back and can I keep this?
You can keep that,
Yeah,
and you can give us all, if you wanna email it to everybody.
All right,
Great,
maybe
And
we
then-
can look at it and then this afternoon.
cause I know we're only gonna meet till 9:30, but Madam Chair, with your discretion, then I think I can walk through some of the things that I think that we're comfortable either
Okay.
closing
So
today.
what we can close out. Right.
So if we start on the top of page one, okay, so we had asked yesterday about the LUPA piece and the first, number one and number two have to do with that, and I don't think we're ready.
Should I send it down?
Cause there's some thinking around, I think, between healthcare and others and yourself around the LUPA rates and why that was important and, that needs to be expedited more in the BAA than not expedited. I will make up my own word. W's got nothing on me. All right, number three was the discussion.
Now, that was one we just referred to the 25.
Right.
That's, and I know there's a January, but I don't know, does the 25 budget that has been presented by the governor include that increase? And if it doesn't,
The
no,
syringe?
no, we're on the LUPA, we're on,
Oh, the LUPA.
Oh,
Number one and
okay,
two.
1 and 2, okay.
and I'm just saying, if, that's why I'm saying you have to look at it, in the context of the 25 budget, so, if there's no funding, we're gonna give them an increase and take it away July 1st. That's why I'm just
Yeah.
saying it has to be, that's why we're saying it has to be considered, because it's an ongoing base cost and the extent to which the 25 budget,
Right.
Needs
reflects
to
that,
continue,
yeah.
so it's two
So that's
sixty-one.
why we wanted to say at this point, it needs to be, considered because it's an ongoing base,
So would it be safe to say then if FY 25 was able to fully do what it needs to do for LUPA in FY 25, that we would have in the C section, the 261 for FY 24? Is that, I just wanna make sure that I'm understanding that would be the
I
goal.
don't know if they can do it retroactive. I don't know, they can, there's been some issue around what can be done retroactively.
So it's
Since they have
possible
to
that it would be a
advertise
year.
rates and stuff.
Yeah, that it would be a 1-year delay, that everybody else got it last year, but they will get it starting in FY 25.
We did give them an
We did, it was
increase.
an
They
increase
got,
last
they
year.
got a provider increase.
It didn't go to 100%, but they got a LUPA increase last year.
I think this one is about their timing that they have,
It was
they run out in January.
But we're past January.
Right, but theirs was, well, anyway, it's a timing thing.
But my only point is that is a decision that carries a cost into 25.
Right.
And
I get what you're saying.
if it's not in the budget, you're gonna have to find money
To put it in.
where we already know.
So is there any money in you're saying there's no money in FY 25 for the increase?
I have no idea.
You don't remember?
You've got the budget.
I just,
I don't know.
I just sent a text to Lori asking for
Okay.
Carol.
So that's why I was
Okay.
saying, it's really, you can't make a decision on, in the BAA without,
Right.
really,
Impacting them, yeah.
or ultimately, so that's.
So we understand now where you're coming from on that, and really take it in the big picture.
Yeah.
And then number 3 is in the discussion that we just had around the syringe program, and Senator Westman would like to make sure that the 218 opens before you decide. Okay,
Hopefully we can get information for that back for this afternoon.
Yeah.
okay, open with
We should
218.
stuff there.
Okay, sounds good. To reset the emergency, number 4 is the emergency financial review for nursing homes. Representative Wood has data. I don't know if you're ready to talk about that, or we can wait till 3.
I will have more complete information at 3.
Okay, 3 p.m. All right, and then I think,
And, I have to tell you that we did get out of, we asked Dale about that, and they said, based on the information they provided, they were, very, very clear that they believe, based on last year's, payout of 18 million, since they made the request at the 17 million level, they had another application for, emergency, relief. And so we, felt that in the absence of anything else, maybe you've got more information that, and then in fact, we got a follow-up communication, from the industry itself, a representative, advocate saying they thought it was gonna be more like 20. So, that's why we left it at the requested level. So, but if you,
Right now, what they have at the department is $14.9 million in requests. And they do anticipate some more. They don't know exactly how much more, but my guess is that we will tend to mostly agree with that. I just
with a
want-
bit more information.
Yes.
So we can talk about it.
Okay. I have to say, sometimes being a little later in the process, sometimes more information. comes
That,
in.
right, that they, at the time that we did it, they had only had $12 million in requests.
Okay, so maybe that's something, maybe.
but it's getting closer.
I do.
No, go ahead.
No, I guess the thing that I am continue to be concerned about is that we I mean, we all know that there's a continuum of care in long-term care from personal care services and home health all the way up to the most expensive, which is patient nursing facility. And we continue to starve the bottom half and middle part of that continuum, and the 25 budget does the exact same thing. So we need them all, I guess is just my point.
I'm not, I'm not, in any way seeing it any different than you are,
I know.
in terms of, I guess it just shows and how, what that 25 budget looks like. I mean, everybody is in here that, what should be the priorities for spending. And it's I think we're gonna have to really, make some very difficult choices around what are those core services, what populations. Obviously nursing homes are most acute, but we have a policy around, home and community based. And so the question is, how do you get the balance? Because those are certainly our most frail and elderly. Older now,
Yes.
we're not elders, now we're
No,
older, under the federal transportation, we're all older. We share your concern about that, and I think, once again, for everybody who's listening, this is indicative of how difficult the 25 budget is.
Yeah.
This is, Senator Sears said yesterday, he thought this was as difficult a budget as they had in 1991. It is, so every request has merit,
Right.
but, this is gonna be the age of difficult choices, so I don't disagree at all. I mean, those, when we're talking about the services for, the population that used to be served in institutional settings.
Yeah.
Including Brandon, including,
Mhm.
the state hospital, what we've done with no increases for the SSAs and, DAs. And those are certainly very,
Mhm.
you talk about who's vulnerable and where the priorities need to be.
Yeah.
Well, the other piece of this is that the hospitals are keeping people, the boarding thing, if there's no place for them to go.
Well, if you're in my county, nursing, the Muir nursing home is, cut beds. It's backing up in my hospital.
Right.
They don't have the staff.
And within the last year, a large nursing home in Newport, which was a nursing home right across from the hospital in Newport. The nursing home in Derby is closed, so
And
it's a huge thing, and it certainly is a continuum of care on that, but
And if you look at our demographics,
It's gonna continue to be.
yes,
So I better
but,
take my vitamins.
yeah, so, as I said, if we could just pass a law that you live healthy and depart quickly, we would have us be ahead, but I don't think.
Can we put that on our license plates?
Instead of live free and die,
Yeah.
you live healthy and go quickly.
All right, that's not gonna, sorry, that's
So,
probably not appropriate.
All right, so,
All right.
now we're down to.
Number 5
Five.
is a part of that larger
Yeah.
construct around, I don't see where this part is a problem. The only thing that we have is whether or not the list of numbers.
I
I
would like to appropriate the money and get that,
to
bill.
get that in that process. So this is the section where they reduce.
This is how we get, this is how we get to
Right.
5 million.
Right.
And move it through.
Right, so that all makes sense.
So that makes sense. We can okay that part of it.
5 and 6.
5 and 6.
7 and 8 too, right?
No, not 7 and 8.
No,
We're
not 7 and 8,
gonna
never mind.
pull out of that.
Sorry,
That's a
that's
whole
different.
other
I
subject.
saw EF and was thinking.
Yeah.
No, Okay,
Flip that
so-
back.
So let's hang on to that because there is some ideas afloat. Don't know, Madam Chair, whether or not they will totally materialize in the next day. But again, there's hope. Number 9, that's the piece, that's the flooding that the senator is working on, so hold that open. Number 10, I think this is where
We've got to
Representative
hold it.
Shy, you wanna hold that one?
we've been in conversation with, people, members of Jai Talk, something came up, they have some language. So I wanna look at that all together and make sure I'm not okaying something that we then have to change, but I should know more by 3 o'clock.
Great.
Okay.
Number 11,
That was one we said we had to consider in the context of the 25.
I believe, yes, that we do. And so I would be prepared that we're not gonna be able to spend it right now.
And that's what we need to make clear, because we heard, oh, you're gutting this, or you're not, whatever, and to some extent, this is just saying, let's not make that decision now, because we need to do it in the context, so it's a matter of just, waiting and deferring until we have that full understanding of all those competing needs.
Right.
Right now that we have that picture, and today, House Appropriations is gonna see a view of the revenues in view of all of this, of where we are with the actual dollars. So you're right, I think it needs to be said clear, I don't know where to look in the camera, but these were things that the House had already pared down to the supports that we believe are really needed or.
Well, this started with a CDC grant, so what we're doing here, and I know the team has been creative, and it's just, again, sometimes when you get grants, that determines and sets your priorities rather than or whatever, so it has nothing to do with the merit or the benefit, but anyway, we were just saying, let's hold that.
For
For
25.
25.
And this goes into the conversation that you would point out that between the House is spending and then the governor double spent or spent again, what we had for the upgrade and how we can get ourselves on a conversation that takes that double spending away. And so 11 and 12, we can close. Number 13, we're gonna hold on for the moment because there's some more data around that.
Yeah.
But it's gonna be a tough buyback. I'm just saying out loud that would be,
Well, you don't have,
important, but not.
you spent it, we
Yeah.
did not. We can look at it in the context of emergency housing and what we've
Right.
done, because that is a population that,
Right.
could be
Considered,
impacted.
yeah, right.
So maybe that's a group that has to be considered in that whole discussion around, emergency housing or temporary housing.
Mhm.
I think so.
And we've gotten some additional information.
Mhm.
And, maybe this is a one time if we put it in, but
Right.
the question is, 25.
Right.
Because I think the desire and the request is to actually have funding, on that beyond, into the next fiscal year.
So
All right, so
so
we're
we'll leave
holding
that one
that.
for a second. But I don't wanna extend too much of a large hope on that, but we're gonna, more information on that. So, 14, right now, again, also something that needs to be taken into consideration in FY 25, because that's part of that whole double spend. Number 15.
So we're
gonna
saying-
Hold on that one, we'll
We're
wait.
saying okay on 14.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
I'm calling you.
You'll confirm with,
Yes,
deferring it to the 25
25.
target discussion.
and then 15, we wait on, that's a whole nother discussion. 16, again, that's something that is important, and I know that, yeah, it's a 25 conversation, and I know.
So are we're getting some language or something about that?
I think the language can go in the 25 budget. I don't think it needs to be in BAA.
I think that's just to have it,
Okay.
Wait,
well, no, what they wanna do is to have it as an MCO investment.
Yeah.
So they could get Medicaid match.
Right, so we want some language about that.
Well, they're doing it now, so,
Oh.
but.
Sometimes it's
Well,
helpful
there's-
to ensure it happens.
Haven't really done it yet.
Sometimes people.
So,
Yeah.
But we're okay with taking it out of here, I guess.
Yeah, right.
Yes,
and making sure that we put in the link.
yes.
Right.
17, I know that we're gonna hold on that one. 18, again, I knew that you made adjustments.
Oh, you had 500
No, 243.
on 17.
Oh, 17, we had
Need
500.
500, and then if at this level of reduction, down, so you basically have 175. Positions will be locked.
We were told that would deal with the operating deficits of existing programs through the end of the year.
Not what we were told. We
No,
were
I was
told they
gonna say, I
needed
meant-
350.
I met with them on Tuesday morning and, what they say, yes, that they need this back. Exactly what you said, Representative Shy, but
All 500 or 350?
They want all five.
they want all 500. But they said that this really is one time because I think Senator Westman is probably more familiar about this, more educated about this than I am, but remember we had this discussion last year in the whole town. AOE had changed some qualifying assessment thing, and now they're changing it so that they will be able to get money from AOE. So they said that this is not going to be a structural deficit any longer. So this is one time. I said, are you positive about that? And he said, yes. So
Okay.
this is up for consideration.
All right, well, we can,
Hold this.
Let's
Yeah,
hold it,
that's
I
why
can
I
also
had-
do one more check on that right now.
Right. I mean, but we appreciate that you put 175.
Yeah.
I don't think we would go
We need
back
that.
on that.
all right, and at that point, that's what we thought would cover their
Oh,
operating
right.
Here's the
deficits.
75 would come,
And I saw you had language for the deficit.
I hear you. Yeah, we saw that.
it's been unclear until the bulk of this money would go to, on Central Vermont. They need $500,000 themselves.
Well, then 350, I don't know what you're talking about. We never,
I heard something from, Brett Mahaly and I just texted, I'll find out
Yeah.
more, we'll find out more for 3
There's
o'clock.
still discussion going. And then 18,
yes, we just added language to say we're adding more money, but it's, yes.
There's language in the technical letter around this one.
Yes, there is,
Oh.
there's language in the technical.
Well, can we agree with the money? And we just want to make sure that the farms that are still operating.
Right, and so I have some information from the person whose farm was affected, or the, I guess, which, anyway, that they were eligible at the time of the grant, fully eligible for the grant by the rules established, but only given about 1/10 of the amount she was eligible for, because the agency ran out of funds due to underreporting made by either the co-op or the agency.
That may be true, but they're not operating now. And we can put, I talked with attorneys and basically the goal is to keep farms in operation.
Right.
And so this money is coming with different conditions than the other money that, they ran out.
I've done my job.
I know you.
all right, so should we wait for the, hear about the technical letter, but I think we're,
But we have it,
We have
it's in
it,
the
it's in-
back, it's
Mhm.
section 40, and, there is a suggestion that continuously remains eligible since they're applied. So there is,
Oh, yes, I see that. Okay,
Well,
I'm
well,
fine. I think this is
if
fine.
they think it's makes it clearer.
they think it needs to clear.
We probably ought to have their proposed language just reviewed by Michael Grady.
Yeah.
Before we,
before we close it out, but we're
money,
close.
confirm language.
Okay,
Okay, 19, again, oh, this one's so hard, Madam Chair. These were the 3 things that I totally understand why they need to be in FY 25. Because we just don't have it, but it's just something that is near and dear. I would like to make sure that it is fully our intent, really the strong intent is to make sure that we can, that this will be address them in 25.
You know, I'll go back to, even though we're deferring, we don't have to wait until July. We can
Right.
make those appropriations on passage.
Yes.
Right.
So if we, get a bill, out in, May or early whatever, we can, move that money ahead,
right.
by,
So for right now, we will
Say, okay.
close those,
and, but it's on the list for 25.
yes, it's high on the list, let's put it that way for 25. Same thing with 20, 21 is, those are the 3 that go together.
Mhm.
22 is also.
So you're, for now, we're holding those for 25.
Yes.
Yeah, those 3. And then 22,
It's the same thing.
Yeah,
In our view.
yeah,
yeah.
And our chair of housing, I've given her all of this and, for them to go back and relook, because sometimes what you thought would rise to the top last year at this time may not be something new might,
amazing what a flood and other disasters will do
so
to.
that's what we did, was say, we want the housing to go back and kind of look at it.
The bigger housing.
And I think 23 was.
22 and
Exactly,
23.
exactly, that we're, and I,
24 is fine.
oh, that was
Well,
right, yeah,
wait,
Oh,
before we
wait.
move beyond
23.
23, we have discussion around 23.
okay.
Oh, you mean the language on the flexibility?
Language on the flexibility and,
That's
It's
not
in a
the 4
different
million
spot.
you're thinking.
That's-
oh, that's not the
That's the 4 million that we gave straight out general fund out of one-time dollars.
This is not related to the,
This isn't the
The
4
shelter.
million.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, that's okay, just wanna make sure.
But-
That's a lot of 4 millions.
Yeah, okay,
yeah,
all right.
But,
But we are gonna have language on our flexibility
yes.
and
As requested by Gus Sealy.
yes,
and that's,
it's gonna be part of the package that also proposes taking 2 million from the one-time emergency shelter. With that flexibility up to 4 million
Right.
to acquire and renovate 75
Yeah.
permanent beds.
yes,
So we'll come back with language. I think we should be able to.
Yeah, we're
language on that
talking
side.
about because some of, are there two projects?
Yes,
maybe,
yes.
That are,
One,
as,
yeah, Central Vermont, one in Brattleboro, and they totaled 75 units for people, yeah.
That won't be just a temporary shelter, that was the key, permanent.
Yes,
All right, so
That's-
we're okay with these two?
yes.
Okay, 24, Robin is
Yeah,
okay
we're
with that?
great, we're just share the
24?
assessment. That was easy.
yeah, that was easy.
Yes,
Yeah.
we should have done that yesterday.
That was easy.
Yeah.
25, I think is gonna have some changes, not the 11, it's gonna be 11 to 12. Or whatever,
Right, that's part of the whole ERAF package.
so hang on to that for a moment.
No, I'm not sure that that is. Isn't that the state share of the 50% match?
Oh.
Because I don't know.
Not, that's, I'm getting ERAF and ER,
But why is it different than what
It
we were?
includes the 6.25, so it's the 5 to get the full state match plus the 6.25 additional.
that was in there.
But it doesn't mention the 6 since we had agreed.
You already agreed on the 6, yes,
Yeah,
there's
we
3
already-
things in that one line item.
Yeah.
So this should be,
This is.
This should be
that should be okay, yeah.
Yeah,
And
This
we're
is
not
not-
talking about changing this formula or anything,
it's just the formula of how to get the grants out the door.
the other grants, the others.
The other ones,
others
down to 33, 34.
And what gave me pause yesterday, and it's amazing what information can do to actually change your mind, was this section here, if I'm open to it. But the info, it also, just because we have incredible staff that can, when you ask a question to, that can provide information on this, that it was important for this to be at 11, because this fully funds the state.
Yeah.
So that when you put the 6.25 on it, that can move. Otherwise, if this is not 11, that hole has to be filled first, which would hurt the whole process.
Well, I think,
Yeah.
we're in agreement, there's 6 million that the governor would release and then the 5.
We had more information, it was another example of we had information that
The major.
needed to be 11, not.
So we'll close this full amount out. and
Yes.
leave-
And so,
Yeah, 25, number 25, right? And then number 26, we closed yesterday. And then 27, 28, 29, 30, and 31, and 32
We're waiting.
is the construct around that, yes, that's the 5, where the 5 million comes from. And Adam is checking with House, Commerce around with the UVM piece, although Adam has done some good work on this already. And has checked in a couple places, so we're probably really close on all of them, but we can just do them all in one block. Later, but I think that'll get sugared out really quick.
and 33 and 34 kind of tied into that methodology. And
Yeah.
Right,
That way,
so
Well, I think 33.
we could, agree to
we're
a
not talking about
concept,
changing that, yeah.
okay,
whatever the amount is. They can
Right.
get it.
right.
right, that's important.
So it's 34 we want to hold for methodology.
Okay, 35, we okayed yesterday,
But the ERP, we're still working on the right language.
the right
A
language
little
and the
flag
right
got
dot.
raised from Talk, so we're checking that out.
And is that what 36 is, Rob?
36 and 37, we're just gonna hold on
Hold off
until we
on.
get that, just do it all at once instead of in pieces.
They all go together.
Okay.
38 was, we were way.
Well, we're about on the finish line, so
Okay.
by afternoon, maybe we will have that.
Yeah.
All right, and then,
But that's the same as number 3.
no.
It's related.
Just, it's just the other side.
That one
It's
is,
the other
one is
side.
syringe and, yeah. The other part.
It's
where
the
it
other
comes
side.
It's just the up and the down.
from. Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so then 39 is the
Grant
debt
funding.
service transfer structure, okay.
And because once you cross the Rubicon on that, that's an ongoing,
It's gonna be very hard to bring that back.
and it's a caution. It is, again, a caution of how difficult this budget is.
Right.
To do this kind of, budgetary maneuver to reduce the, stabilization reserve amount.
Right.
So, I mean,
That's what worried us and why we wanted.
I know, but.
I know, we're looking into self-sufficiency for the money.
Did we propose ones? I don't remember.
We removed it, we said the
removed
minute,
it. The
the minute
language
you
that we
did
had
it,
proposed.
it was an ongoing.
Which we said, we can do it once but never again.
Right.
And then we can
And,
do
and
it.
really, we do have to pay attention in out years, because over time, we were told that this could have an effect
Right.
on reserves and ratings and things like that. Well, not right now, but
And we did put language for kind of like JFO to look at what is the best way to fund.
And we do have that language in looking
Yes.
at, stress testing.
Right,
and
yes,
so forth.
right,
So,
right.
And that was,
and we did hear from, and obviously, we were very worried about this, if you wanna know the truth.
yeah, let's do
And what the implications are,
Yeah,
and the extent to which fiscal discipline, somehow gets eroded,
right.
for short-term expediencies with
Mhm.
long-term
Mhm.
cost. And the treasurer, we asked for testimony, his review, this amount is so modest, it
Yeah.
doesn't, but it's something that cannot be a,
And if we got, no, I mean, this is how we got in trouble with pensions, and we definitely see that with debt, within our reserves.
So given that, why are we taking out the language about not doing it?
because
Because we
We're
put
doing
it
it,
in,
we're doing it in FY 25.
and it's,
Oh.
and we're assuming the savings, and those are gonna have to be part of that ongoing base.
Right.
Right.
yes. So, okay, on 39,
Okay.
and then we checked.
Oh, did you have
my-
seconds, or,
Mine's smart.
Yeah.
is that okay with, house transportation?
Yeah, I mean,
You can
there's some
check that.
concerns about the process, but I did talk with Jennifer.
It's amazing just to have a little check-in, even though when we go through, there's enough times that I have a faux pas around not checking in with somebody, so.
No, faux pas.
It's a faux pas. It's a faux pas. Wasn't that in Lion King? No, it's a faux pas.
Whatever it is.
Whatever it is. Thank you for entertaining this.
She told us this morning she was gonna have her own language.
I know, well,
You know?
she's held up.
Yeah,
that
right,
process.
definitely.
Who was the, what's the baseball player?
Oh, like Yogi Berra?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deja vu all over again,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, and so I can really, and I just remember all the W kind of, yeah, totally can relate.
Is our children learning?
Yeah.
Yes.
Young lady, well, I don't know.
41, we okay,
Yeah, so now we're down.
we're on,
We felt obligation, meant that it had been obligated and was not available to, spend again. That was,
oh, 42 you want to do.
Sorry,
No, that's all right.
I'm trying to run my committee at the same time of being here. So, okay, so on the choices for care language, part of this actually really ties back into the utilization of the savings. And the department's been
didn't you used to work there?
yes.
She
I
knows a thing or two.
developed this language and it's had many iterations over the years
I
as
think this
as
is
you
all
know.
your fault.
This is, well, I probably do bear some of the responsibility for it. So the issue here is that, the whole intent of the savings language was to be used for home and the community-based side. And it's being gobbled up by the skilled nursing side. And they're doing that through, obligating funds into the next year. And so the intent is to removing that one word is to bring it back to the original intent of the language, which was to reserve any savings that accrue for community-based side. It's very clear about to not have waiting lists and moderate needs, which we do have.
Well, you can, because that's.
It is, it's not the entitled, but that's what the savings was intended to address. So that's why we feel really strongly about this
Well,
language.
My concern was, I understand what you're saying is that they're deliberately, taking money aside and, our concern was, are we spending, if it's obligated, then you can't spend it for something else. And that was the concern that if we took out obligated, it would perhaps, overspend the money.
Oh, yeah, no, that's not gonna overspend the money. Part of what they do each year, part of what they're required to do each year is to submit to us a report.
Is there something we can use other than obligated, because once, in the budgetary context, obligated to me means.
There's a contract.
Yeah, you've committed to, you've committed those funds.
Right, and we don't want them to commit those funds in advance of us having. The whole process is that we're supposed to have a say in how the savings are used. They propose it in their annual report, but they're sort of going around that process by obligating those
If
funds
we could,
and saying, oh, now we have a zero balance.
okay, I understand the concern, I'm just, wondering, from a fiscal perspective, maybe we could look at that, and see if there's another way of expressing it. What you're trying to do is avoid that circumvention.
Yeah,
Right.
Yes,
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 that is the goal.
Yeah.
Because of,
so we don't want them to obligate it.
or we don't want them to.
we don't want to subvert the process that
Right.
is set in statute that
Right.
we have a say about how the savings are used. Right now, they obligate everything and they say there's no savings
Right,
because they just obligate it.
Right.
Right.
Easy way to do that.
Yes.
All right, maybe there's
See it.
something that we can think of to.
Yeah.
Okay, all
Address.
right, we'll take,
Okay.
And maybe it has to do with not obligating,
yeah,
Right. Has to be a very specific.
until it's, the plan is approved or something like that.
right.
Right.
Maybe even through joint business, something, okay.
But it's more joint, you definitely want me to be busy all summer, don't you, manager?
Well, who's the chair? I have a vested interest in minimizing, you know how I feel
I
about
know.
study groups, work groups.
Yeah.
All right,
So 40,
43, I got a question.
Alright, so
But that was just me. My teammate here and others may have, but I just put a question, remove missing middle.
Is it repealing
implementation
or repeal?
repeal.
So that it keeps going or something? Is it one of those?
yeah, can you respond? Who's, Grady, if you have the answer?
On which section, say?
91
The repeal, missing.
Middle implementation repeal.
Yeah,
If you do
so,
have an answer.
Yeah.
so there are amendments to the language that was in Act 47 that are still in the Senate, proposal of amendment to the BAA. There was a section in Act 47 that said, that the duty to implement the program was contingent on FY 24 appropriation. The House proposal of the bill would struck that section in Act 47 because the Senate didn't appropriate any funds. That section should be repealed in Act 47
So it's related to our actions earlier that.
because
If
there's
this,
not.
then you have to do that, but
Right.
now that we're not doing this, we shouldn't, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're screwing up, we're basically trimming up the language of what our actions.
That's
Right, reversing the House repeal.
Yeah, okay. so
Thank you,
that's
Grady. This is where information is so important.
All right,
And-
86.
86, we're gonna wait on that.
Mhm.
Not, or it's section, or line 45, House
45.
44.
And then 845 is really, it's not a waiver per se, it's getting.
Yeah, we're fine with removing that language.
Okay, and you're gonna have a
New,
What is house
We're gonna-
language TK?
Teresa.
Oh,
To come.
to come with a K.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's coming. So you've got something.
We just talked about this earlier,
Yeah.
we're gonna put the language in the FY 25 budget.
So it's okay to remove it.
It's
here.
okay to remove it here,
That
yes,
we're gonna be-
Okay,
we're gonna deal with it. in-
Okay.
in
And
FY
then,
25.
and then, you had your wish list of if money became available, we just said, let's do that, the 25, because
Yeah,
our house
that was
really
on-
hasn't had
yeah.
a chance
Yeah.
to.
right.
That's okay.
Weigh in.
All right, and then we did, line 47, we okayed yesterday, and 48, and 49, and
Yeah, we
50,
got it
we
all.
did
have it all
those
right
down.
on
We got it
here.
all.
Yeah, I know, I'm just going down, we're just so
We have
that
a
we go
different
through
sheet.
them all. It's the same, just, just different notes, and
Oh,
then
we did talk
51.
about, do we request it or require it?
Where?
Oh, the carry forward.
Yeah, we said request it,
Oh, the language.
We have to remember to request it every year if we're
But
gonna
you
do
would-
that.
well,
We've
if you
never
don't,
gotten it before.
if you didn't request it, then did you need it?
Well, we did. It
All
turns
right.
out because we saw it, but we never requested it. We just have to remember to request it.
Sometimes, yes, or people, sometimes, have you never, information just comes to you that you see that can make a difference, that you might not have ever known existed, and then all of a sudden it ends up in your inbox and you go, I didn't even know that was there.
Actually, hand me that, no, maybe that's not the one.
That's the,
No, there's one on, education, assistance and VSAC and stuff. They have, that report's got all kinds of recommended language for changes. And I was like, is anybody paying any attention to it? I mean, I read it this weekend,
Mhm.
so we need to,
Which one that?
no, I think it might be over in that heap.
the one that you pulled out, though, does have a lot of great recommendations in it, I just.
On the housing?
The
Yeah,
housing council, yeah, we heard from them yesterday.
Yeah, and what did they say?
Alex Farrell, the commissioners came in and walked through it. And
I know.
so that group is going to be in place for 10 years.
Yeah, well, what I was, what they have for areas of future investigation,
Mhm.
which to me, when we were thinking of the council, was what's our top most pressing priority?
Mhm.
And they're saying, create additional low barrier shelter capacity. It says it's well, not within the scope of the action plan. But they intend to devote time to this issue and develop specific actionable recommendations because a year ahead, it was like, there's no urgency there. That's why I was flipping out yesterday. There's, you
Well,
know, we've got a council that basically is saying what we think is the most pressing issue
Mhm.
is something they'll take up next year.
Right, I don't think we're.
I shouldn't read these reports because they not bluff us.
But I do hear you, so I do believe that in light of the fact, and that we've discussed, the urgency is not there, we're not seeing it. We're right back to the conversation that we had at the same table a year ago. That,
And the only
Have
problem
ideas.
today is we actually have less capacity to respond now
yes,
than we had last year.
I agree,
I know.
so we are, I think if you're calling a meeting,
Yeah, I am.
I know you are,
Mhm. And-
I will be there,
It's,
that's Monday.
Monday, yeah.
Monday,
Monday,
three.
So, would you like to wait until after we have that meeting on Monday? I mean, our minds will be always looking at a lot of things that we wanna be able to do, but I think the administration, and I agree with you, needs to show the urgency of this crisis.
Well, I went back and looked at the language that we had in our budget, and really it was an all hands on deck.
Mhm.
Please, no, instruction.
Yes.
That this involves community, involves every part of state government, it involves our community-based organization. And we put the agency district, the area
Field service.
field services director sort of at the, as the kind of the focal point of
Right.
all that work. And I don't know to what extent, and that's part of what we need to be updated on, is what kind of partnerships are there? That this is not something the state of Vermont and the legislature can solve, by itself. And everybody in these communities have got to put their best thinking together. And the urgency that we felt a year ago, doesn't seem to be evident. And it's sort of like, well, just, continue the status quo and the available funds or what you don't fund.
Right.
In state government, if we're concerned about what's happening with choices for care, what we're having, what our designated agencies are not getting for an increase. I mean, all of that is a zero sum game. And so we're gonna try and get an update on that and what the plans are.
I think the House, I can't speak for the entire House, but the House shares the concerns of what the Senate has put forward, that we are not seeing, whether it's in the budget or in action, that they are, addressing the level of urgency that needs to happen around this.
So with that, I'm thinking that really that update is gonna be critical and so,
Yeah. So we will wait.
I think that's, would be the prudent course to
Yeah.
take. What we're gonna be able to do,
Right.
at least it will be with a better understanding. But on 51, we said request it, you said require it. And
Can we leave the language in that says request, but leave that in the budget, or do we have to take it out?
it's gratuitous language.
I know.
If it makes Robin feel good.
I wanna be.
I don't
sure-
need gratuitous language.
Oh, I know, I'm not fond of gratuitous language, I hear bad words and movies from along those lines. That's what I think.
That was like the vocabulary word of the day. You think about it,
Yeah, I mean,
But I
I'll
think,
let you know.
52, 53, and 54, we waited on,
Yeah.
and 55, we, decided yesterday. It's
Right.
So we've gone through it. Yeah, go.
So, it sounds like some of these pieces we're gonna wait till after our joint fiscal meeting on Monday, which means we're not gonna close.
Right.
The AA on Friday.
Right.
But which gives us time to deal with some of the other ones, issues that were.
Potentially.
But we have
Not to
another-
put off tomorrow, what we can do
No,
today.
it gives us more time to accomplish the things that we wanna get done.
Right.
So, maybe by this afternoon, we can close out 3, that's a syringe.
Yeah.
And what the figure is. And, Then we-
The nursing home, the ERP, and maybe the ADLs.
yeah.
And then maybe,
And certainly, the
10.
reversions, we might have a better figure from.
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Um, And then we're gonna continue to work on the grant methodology, but plan B would be to put that language
Right,
in.
and we have some more time, I think we'll be able to figure it out. The numbers, 17, or are we waiting for more information for that? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We,
let's circle that one.
Yes,
I've got a hold on that.
yeah, so I have lines 3, 4, 10, 17,
18.
25. No, not, okay, the 27 through 32, the reversions.
Yeah.
For 3 o'clock, and then the syringe number 38.
38 and 3.
Right.
I think Bob is ready to put 2.
And then 42, we circle,
And 51.
Well, Luca's 25.
I know, I'm just, we didn't.
Okay,
sign
so
off
we
on
didn't
that.
sign off on it, so that's still.
That's a
Just
3
getting
o'clock.
it.
Maybe that's a 3 o'clock thing.
All right,
Okay.
thank you.
For advanced
Right on time
awareness,
too.
What?
I heard from Mike O'Grady, he's fine with the organic dairy farm language,
Oh,
but it's
great.
in the technical.
All right, then, good. So we'll put that in.
Let's put that in. Let's.
Okay, add language.
Thank you,
and
Brady.
say,
You know, I
okay.
recommended the technical letter.
Thank you.
That was fast.
We'll get you on that.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. All right, then 9:30, we're going to have one bit and,
Yeah.
3 o'clock. and,
3 o'clock.
Yeah, we will adjourn the conference committee